Hey everybody, welcome to Monday Night Live in Lexington, you guys. My name is Kathryn Kauffman and I'm a psychic medium here in Lexington, Kentucky. Welcome to my every Monday night show. This is where we discuss what and who we are in this journey called life. Happy Monday, everybody. Hope you had a good weekend. Let me put the chat box up and let's see. Hey to Silvana Kazani, Kim Mintz, good to see you guys. In case people don't know who I am or what I do professional psychic readings here in Lexington, Kentucky. And so the QR code to my side is the link to my website where you can find a lot of helpful videos, links to my YouTube channel, and all kinds of information on what I do. Hello to Joe Bruce on Facebook. I will be checking the page on Facebook frequently because, as we know from the past, my streaming services do not translate to real-time comments. Hello to Lois Finley King over on Facebook. So yeah, I'll be hopping back and forth between the Facebook page. Hey to all you guys over here on Instagram, Empath Divinity. Oh, it's Martha. Hey, Martha. Good to see you tonight. As always, Martha, drop your links in the comment section for everybody to see. Let me see what we got going on this evening. Okay, so I have a lot of QR codes from my Amazon shop to show you this evening. Now, you need to know that these are affiliate links, and if you purchase one of my recommendations off of the Amazon site, I might get 10 cents. So it takes more effort to put those up and put them all together than it does to get paid off of them. So it's really kind of a public service type of thing to put all my recommendations on the Amazon store, because you really don't make enough to even warrant the time that goes into putting the store together and getting all the links and all that kind of stuff. So I do want you guys to know what recommended products that I like to use, so that you might have a helpful tool to expand your consciousness and your awareness. And that's kind of what we're here to do tonight. Let me check comments on Facebook really quick. Hey to Nancy Moore and Vivian Cohen, good to see you guys this evening. So there are people that aren't showing up on my Restream chat. Too bad. Oh well, I'll just keep checking back and forth. We'll get them. Okay, so tonight is a really important show because everybody needs to be in contact with their spirit guides. And so what I did was I kind of boiled it down to 4 easy steps to connecting with your spirit guides. And those of you that have been with the show for quite a while, then the last few weeks I have moved the studio up to my office. And so there's not a real fancy background behind me, but those of you on Instagram can see a real nice. And those of you that are on Instagram, I want you to look at the mirror behind me. It's a convex mirror I got from an antique store in Paducah, Kentucky, years and years and years and years and years ago. And so kind of watch the reflection in it and see if you see any kind of spiritual activity back there. Sorry, you guys on Facebook and YouTube won't be able to see that. Hey to Michelle Harris, good evening to you too. And I'm having to lean to look around my my Logicam camera to see what the comments are. So let's dive into this, shall we? 4 steps to connecting with your spirit guides. And if you guys didn't know, I will be putting up these articles on my website. My website has a blog section now. And so there are 2, 3 articles already up on it. The first one I think was how to find a good psychic counselor. The second one was about magnetism as psychic protection. That is a really good blog article for you guys to read. I do have a video on my YouTube channel already about it. It's called Protective Magnetism. And it can also be called projective magnetism. And so I did a YouTube video about it not too long ago, and I'm thinking about redoing that because we have additional information. Martha says, I can sense the unique energy of the mirror itself. Keep watching. You may see something. And I wish you guys on the regular feed could see the mirror behind me, but it is the trajectory of the Instagram feed that I have on here that allows them to see this. So, what is a spirit guide first? As the great author Dolores Cannon and hypnotherapist always said, we are never alone. And I agree with her. In my experience as a medium, there are all kinds of spirits around you 24/7. Like you hardly get any alone time. And the way that I do mediumship is very different than what you see on TV. The way that I do a mediumship is I start with a specialized meditation at 10:30 in the morning, and I sit and channel everybody that comes through, what they say, what they show me. I write it all down. Any strange things that I might get go on the side of the paper. And the appointments always start at 1:00. So when the person comes in for the reading at 1, all of the information that I have channeled has to be validated. So they're pretty complex, and I usually have about 4 pages of channeling for the person by the time they come in for their appointment. So it's an all-day process for me for a mediumship, and I want to make sure and present all the spirits that are surrounding a person and trying to help them on their journey, not just the person that they're interested in talking to. And I'm always hopeful that the person that they're wanting to speak with comes through. Hey to Ricky Elkins, I hope you're doing okay. Special shout out to my beautiful neighbor, Miss Amber Benteen. Hey to Ina Thompson. I tell you what, I'm gonna try to. It will be really quick. Nancy wants to see the mirror, so let me see. This is gonna be weird. Okay, I'm just gonna show you the mirror real quick, Nancy, if I can. There it is. Can you see the mirror, Nancy? I wish that could stay on for the remainder of the show, but I just can't get it into frame and then put me into frame. It just won't work with this Logicam. But so getting back to the topic, there are always people around you trying to help you out. And we are living in such a fast-paced world with, bills to pay, gas prices to contend with, and so our access to these people are kind of stunted because of that. Now let me put a link to my Amazon storefront up first, because there are a lot of good lists on there to choose from. There's a list on psychic improvement, psychic protection. There's a list on working with dreams, working with angels, and then there's a feng shui. There's a new list I put up on feng shui type of products. So let me just leave this storefront link up first, because some of the things that I'm going to put on the screen are from the storefront, and there are possibly other things that you want to see on the storefront besides what I'm going to put up tonight. I don't know if any of you guys ever watched any of Dolores Cannon's videos or read any of her books, but she's a really good study in case you haven't. And you know, she's one of the ones that has always said you're never alone. So we're constantly surrounded by family that have passed on, people from our connections in past lives, angel spirits, and they are all folded into our dimension by their choice. Every spirit can choose to evolve or devolve during each lifetime, and that's really the main purpose of why you're here, is to go through, you know, an evolutionary consciousness or you know, situation where you raise your awareness, or you can choose to stay the same. You know, that's your free will of choice, or you can choose to devolve, and devolution is involved in the lower energies of, you know, lust, desire, obsessions. Those type of things are very difficult for a lot of people to overcome. We have free will of choice to do good and to help the world, or we can choose to do wrong and hurt people and the world. Or we can do something that's even worse, that I think, and that's to do nothing from cowardice. To turn your head the other way, to not speak when someone is being wrongly done. And that's kind of, you know, what happened with the Nazis and the Jewish people. A lot of people did nothing when they could have stood up and done something. So a spirit can choose to stay beside their family members after they pass out of love and caring. They don't have to stay behind with us. They can choose to do that just strictly out of wanting to be with us. But they can also stay in this dimension out of service and furthering their own evolution. So let's say they didn't take the opportunity to evolve while they were here, and they made quite a few mistakes. They can choose to stay in our dimension in the afterlife and act as a guide for us, and that helps their spirit evolve and develop awareness, because they're active in trying to help whoever it is that they've decided to stay behind for. So Pura Vida says, is there a way to seek the guidance of someone specific who passed that we did not know in the physical? Absolutely. In some of the readings that I've done on mediumship, there are people from past lives that have come through that have had very significant messages for the people that I'm sitting for. Oh, I hope that answers your question. Let's see. And you know, another thing to answer your question, Pura Vida, is we are all fractals of the original Godhead. Okay, God. We're all fractals of that energy, and so we're all connected. Everything is connected in the quantum field. And so if there's somebody specific who you feel connected with that you want to ask a question from, the connection is already there. We just have to access it. And so Martha says, one of my affirmations lately has been more being, less doing. Yes. It kind of reminds me, Martha, put your money where your mouth is, right? Okay, getting back to this. we need to know what is a spirit. And this is some of the teaching that I do in my mediumship. A special shout out to my good friend, Mr. Charles Biggs. Good to see you on here tonight. Kim Mintz, good to see you. I hope I'm getting everybody. Let me hop over to YouTube or Facebook really quick and refresh and make sure that I'm getting everybody. Bear with me. The wonders of technology that doesn't work most of the time. Okay, so we need to know what a spirit is. And, when I ask my clients that when I'm doing a sitting for them, often I get this blank look because nobody really thinks about this. What is it that we're communicating with? And it is really quite simple. All you have to do is take a live body and a deceased body and subtract the difference, and that is the spirit, which is, you have an electromagnetic field, right? Dead bodies don't emanate an electromagnetic field. The next thing that you have is kinetic energy. Dead bodies don't move, and as a living thing, we move, and so we're made of kinetic energy. The next thing is a thermic variant. Dead bodies are room temperature, and so there's some kind of thermic force behind the spirit. The next three things that you're made up of are three different kinds of light. Okay, we now know that each strand of DNA in the body holds exactly 1,000 light photons, and those photons are made up of infrared energy, ultraviolet energy, and bioluminescence, like a firefly. And so those types of light are all encased in our DNA, that is not present when you pass. And so these are the ways that the spirit has to communicate with us that they are here. And so we're going to go over the ways that they communicate using those particular energies of electromagnetic energy, light energy, kinetic forces, and thermic variance. So these are the ways that they communicate and examples of each interaction. So the electromagnetic energy, they're going to communicate through flickering of lights, turning on or off the TV or radio, pictures flashing on your computer, doorbells ringing, and all they're doing is really plugging in their own electromagnetic energy into a circuit and causing it to go off. So it is very easy for them to manipulate any kind of electromagnetic source. And they can even send you a text or turn the phone on and off. They can manipulate the alarm on your phone to make it go off at certain hours of the night so that you look at the number that's being displayed on your alarm. And in the number is the message. So one book that I recommend that's on my Amazon shop under Psychic Improvement is Synchronicity Numbers by Anne-Marie Uber. And that is one of the best references that I have for looking up what the numbers that they send you mean. So Pura Vida says, I am connecting with some form of light because I tend to get orbs and bright lights around me when I'm going in deep or sometimes when I'm sleeping. I have captured tons of videos and photos of it. One photo specifically looks like being hovering above me. Yes, and so yeah, you're contacting with somebody who is presenting in their purest form, which is light. I mean, in our purest form, we are light. Usually when you see a apparition, it is a projection from the mental imagery of that person, that stored imagery in the mentation, in the consciousness of what was once a physical being. What they're doing is projecting that imagery so that you can recognize who they once were. So, electromagnetic communication is one way that spirits communicate. So let's go to kinetic energy. And that can be doors opening and closing, pictures falling off of the wall, or maybe being turned over, your car keys being moved, objects being tossed across the room. And please understand me that it is very difficult for a spirit to acclimate to moving an object with psychokinetic energy, because it takes a great deal of psychokinetic energy to move something, and they're not used to it. A lot of times, let's say the door will slam when they don't mean to slam it. Okay, it's just the fact that maybe they haven't been practiced enough to um, monitor how much force they use with shutting a door or slamming a cabinet. So, it's not necessarily malevolent if, the door slams or something like that, or something gets tossed across the room. You really need to look at, are there any family pictures or people who passed on pictures next to what is going on? Kind of dive a little bit deeper into what is in that area. Are anybody's ashes in that area? Are there any pictures of people who are deceased in that area? Is there some clue in that area or in that object that was moved or tossed that will give you a clue as to who and what the person wants to communicate? Thermic examples would be cold drafts in a closed area that doesn't have a window or a fan going, or concentrated cold spots in certain rooms that seem to stay, and you can't seem to warm up that area. And then we go on to photonic energy. Remember, you're made of the three different kinds of light. And Janice says, I'm loving the show. Thank you, Janice. I'm sort of giving you guys a little bit of the information that I give in a full mediumship. And I hope this helps you guys. So the photonic energy are multi-directional orbs of light, unusual flashes of light, traveling ribbons of light. And I have a video on my YouTube channel of a spirit coming up off of my shoulder and actually picking my hair up. And it is a really cool thing to see. And I usually show that to people in a mediumship so that they can actually see what a spirit looks like without a body, to see what you look like without a body. So Nancy says, I'm sensitive and have had multiple people tell me I have light that shines from my head. What does that mean? Okay, so a lot of people have very strong empathic abilities, and because we're made of light, and what I usually explain it this way: what happens to a ray of light that you put through a prism? It fractures into colors, and that's exactly what your aura is. Okay, your aura is made up, your aura or your light energy in your body is made up of different colors, and empathic people in particular have a very wide red aura. And people are attracted to the light or the red aura that comes, or the vibration that comes up through the body. And so, Nancy, a lot of people who have empathic abilities or have this very wide red aura that comes out through the top of the head, you're going to get people who are attracted to you. They want to know you. They want to talk to you. They want to tell you all of their life problems. And so you're going to get a lot of people that want to tell you everything about themselves. Hello to Autumn Law. Good to see you tonight. Thank you for tuning in, and I'm glad you're enjoying the show. So I need to do a revamped video on what the aura is, because the way that we're taught to read an aura is completely wrong. And I have an old video about it, but I think I need to do a newer, more updated one to let you guys know the proper way to look at an aura or to read an aura. Let's see. So Purveda says, but could they lift a book from a closet in another room and place it out in a different space? Yes, absolutely. That's called portation. Apportation, apporting of an item, and that's one thing I haven't done a show on. So I have some more ideas on show. Let's do. I may have done a video on apportation before, but maybe not. I will write that down. If I haven't done a show on it, I will do one next week on it. The thing about apportation, and I think I have an old show about it, and don't be sorry for asking questions. That is exactly what this show is about, and chances are somebody else in the audience is probably wondering the same thing that you are, Pura Vida. So please keep asking questions. But what you're talking about is called apportation. And what I've noticed with apportation or porting of items is that they're usually small items. Usually it's something smaller or equal to a newspaper. So, like, I've never heard of or seen anything large like a chair being apported, although I'm not saying it couldn't happen. I just don't know of these things. But smaller items, it's very common to have, coins, keys, glasses, those type of things are very readily apported from one location to another. And I really am not sure exactly how they're doing that. So let's see. Martha says she's an empath. You're a heavy empath, and had aura photography done in Sedona, and saw I had a rainbow aura with lots of concentrated white light in the heart chakra. That is amazing. I wish you would share that photo with me. I would love to see it. So yeah, if you haven't watched my old video about how to properly read an aura, please go back on my YouTube channel and find it and watch it, because the way that we're taught to read an aura is completely wrong. Okay, back to these are the 4 steps to elicit a communication. Okay. Number 1, you need to quiet the mind, lowering the brain waves to synchronize to the spirit's frequency. Okay, so the spirit's frequency is theta wave, which is a deep trance-like meditation. This is the spirit's frequency, okay? So your brainwave must match their brainwave, which is theta. You can use brain entrainment techniques to accomplish this, and they're called binaural beats. So all you have to do is look up binaural beats on YouTube, and then once you get binaural beats typed in, add theta wave to that, and that is the spirit's brainwave. Now, this is also part of your sleep state. Theta wave can be a meditative, deep trance state, but it's also part of your sleep state. And that's exactly why most spirits usually communicate through dreams. It's exactly why they communicate through dreams, is because their amplitude or their frequency is theta wave. So Ina says, I lost a glove in Indiana that inexplicably turned up in a suitcase in Florida. It was quite a shock. A very good friend had just passed away. Oh my goodness. And so she probably apported that glove into your suitcase. So Autumn says, I'm an empath and I know things. When I first started to understand I was an empath, my grandmother came to me in a dream, just what we were talking about, and kept telling me that I know. I have made a game of it. Awesome. When I worked a switchboard in the hospital, I would decide what screen to go into before answering it. It became a habit, and I was usually right most of the time. A person I was training asked what I was looking at that told me where to go on the computer program. I feel that I need a mentor to go to the next step for me, which I feel is being a medium. Well, Autumn, I do offer mediumship training on my website. So what you want to do is scan the QR code on the screen if you're on Restream, and there will be a section on there for medium training, and you can take a look at it. So yeah, it's very in-depth and it requires a lot of work, but it sounds like that you're up for it. So Nancy says, I have spirit that takes and returns my TV remote. That is so mean. They don't need to do that. We got to have our relaxing shows now. Yeah, so let's get back to the screen here. All right, well, I'm just checking for all the questions. So Martha says, I tend to receive sacred geometry images as I'm falling asleep and entering into that frequency. So there's some message there for you, Martha, in those forms, in those geometric forms, that we need to explore a little bit further. Like maybe certain geometric forms are trying to convey a message of, specific something to you. And as you're falling asleep, you're passing through that theta wave state as you go into a deep sleep. So you're briefly connecting there. Okay, so back to the binaural beats, and those are all on YouTube. But for binaural beats, you have to wear earbuds or headphones or the entrainment doesn't work. And you have to listen for at least 30 minutes. It takes your brain 30 minutes to go through the reflex of changing the actual brainwave. Now, I want to give you guys a cautionary note. If you have a history of seizures or brain problems, you will have to consult your neurologist to get clearance to use binaural beats. Normally, you won't be able to use those, and you can't use these if you are driving or have any kind of job that requires focused attention, because this is a meditative deep trance brainwave, and bad things can happen if you try to use this while you're driving, or you need to pay attention to what you're doing. Okay, step number 2. So step number 1 was lower your brainwaves to theta with binaural beats or regular meditation. Number 2 is to ask out loud for a specific sign or symbolic communication. Even though a spirit's main communication is telepathic, they can better tell exactly what you need through extra vibrational frequency of voice or sounds. You can ask them to show you a specific item or symbol that means something to you. Or you can ask that they find a way to reveal who they are to you. And what I found is that actually works the best, because this allows them to use the energy that's already in the environment to show you what they need to. If you impose a certain sign or symbol or item request, It might be too difficult given the current lack of resources or energies around you to manifest what you're wanting to see. So I usually find that it works best if you can ask them to show you who they or validate who they are in their own way, and then be patient. Okay, that's number 3. Hey to all you guys on Instagram that are joining. Okay, let me check Facebook really quick here. Sorry for the delay. These are technical glitches that we can't avoid. Hey to my beautiful relative, Maddie Bone Mills. Good to see ya from Western Kentucky. Awesome. Thank you for joining tonight. You may have to catch a lot of this on the rerun. All right. Number 3 is be patient and observe, or you might miss a communication. Be looking for your sign or symbol. If there's not a lot of energy in the environment for them to manipulate, the sign might be very subtle and difficult to spot, especially if you're too busy or you just don't want to take the time to look for it. You might miss it, and that could make you depressed because you're like, well, I asked for a sign and they didn't give me any. Well, maybe they gave you a subtle sign and you just didn't catch it. So you really got to be aware of everything going on around you. And it's, in my experience, it's also easier for them to visit you in a dream or manifest signs close to or near any kind of moon chains, like 3 days before a full moon or 3 days before a new moon. That's when the energies in the environment are amplified, and it's easier for them to manipulate matter to give you whatever sign or symbol that you're trying to have as validation. So if you're going to ask for communication and you want them to show you who they are, ask for it close to a full moon or close to a new moon. Don't ask for it in the middle when it's harder for them to manifest any kind of paranormal phenomena. It's the amplified energies that actually help paranormal phenomena to occur. Number 4, this is a big one. Document in a journal what kind of sign or symbolic representation you receive. Because later on, when we don't get that sign and we don't get that symbol, and maybe we just missed what it was and we're doubting everything, it's good to look back in your journal and look back at that validation and go, no, yeah, they're there. Look at all this validation here, because we forget very easily when we get communications, and we need to be reminded. So when we get a really great no doubts sign, we need to help remember these occasions. Spirits will not always be able to come through, and that can be kind of depressing, especially when you're down in the dumps about something. So reading back on documented occasions helps when we ask for things, and they're not able to produce the phenomena. Okay, now let me put up, sorry, all my allergies. I'm going to put up a few QR codes that might help. Okay, this is a course that I have on my website, because a lot of mediums will use specific crystals to amplify and increase reception. And this is something that I teach in my medium course as well. But if you have somebody on the other side that you want to communicate with and you feel like a crystal might amplify that for you, this is a great course to take for that. And it tells you, all the different shapes and structures that amplify and accelerate these types of communication. Hey to KYGS Writer over here on Instagram. Good to finally see you tonight. You're usually at the beginning of the show, but better late than never. And you guys all these shows are housed on my YouTube channel. So all you have to do is go to the YouTube channel and type in what you want to know, and maybe I've done a video on it. Okay, so let's go to a different QR code that you might need. Now, one of the ways to connect with them that's really good is through astral projection. Astral projection is just basically practicing for being a dead person, okay? It really is projection of the astral body, and if you can learn how to manipulate your astral body in this other realm and navigate it and communicate with those spirits and entities that are out there, you're going to do better, and you're going to transition better from life to the afterlife. And this is a great little reference for astral projection. It's a really good starter on how to do it, and what you can expect. Another good one, if you are wanting to know how to talk to people about your abilities, about everybody has abilities. Let's just get that straight now. Everybody has abilities, but they function on these altered brainwaves, okay? And so some of us kind of live on those altered brainwaves. So, but if you want to be able to converse, I would say logically and very left brain with your family and friends about psychic abilities, this is the book to get. This was written by a laser physicist who was one of the first creators of what was it that they did? It was in the 1970s, remote viewing. He was one of the first people to develop remote viewing in the 1970s for the CIA. They put together a program for the CIA in 1970. And he's written a couple of books. This is, it goes into a lot of quantum physics, which that's what you need to try to explain psychic abilities to people, because a lot of people will shut you down when you go into kind of an ethereal type of explanation. They want scientific proof. But here's the thing, there is scientific proof. For those of you guys on Instagram, the book is called The Reality of ESP by Russell Targ. And Mr. Targ has also done another book that validates mediumship, and the name of that book is The Limitless Mind. And so, and those are all on my Amazon shop. So all you have to do is go to my Amazon shop and you can see all those. Okay, now, let me do a couple shout outs to my friends, because I love my friends. This is not sponsored. I just love the podcast. I love my friends that do this show. It is a true crime podcast, and it's a husband and wife team, and they do the most excellent job at entertainment with true crime. I just absolutely love them. And they also have a YouTube channel too. So just put in Hitch to Homicide, hop over and watch one of the episodes. They come out with an episode every Wednesday, and they are really, really good. I just want to share that with you and give them a little love in the process. Also, if you guys are interested in oracle cards, and in case you didn't know, every Friday I do a free oracle reading on my Facebook page. It's called Fun Friday. And so what I did was I gathered up 3 years of Fun Friday readings, and I put them into an oracle deck. And I made the deck up myself, and it's at that code that you're seeing to the side of me. But so if you want a free reading every Friday, go to my Facebook page before 9 a.m. Pick a card. Tell me which card you pick. If it's been a bad week and you want more than one card because you need a lot of inspiration, then pick more than one. Some people pick all 3 cards for the day, and that's fine too. And then before 4 p.m. in the evening on Friday, I give the reveal of the meaning of all the cards. Now, the trick to this is I have these oracle cards, but I never go by the book that comes with the cards. You know, there's a book that comes with cards that tells you what it means, but I don't go with that. I look at the card and I try to channel for you guys the meaning for that particular day. So I can use the same cards week after week, but you're going to get a different reading each week based on what I channel. So it's always different. Also got to show you my Patreon page. I do a daily, it's kind of a planetary outlook with psychic influences for each and every day. It's only $3 a month. That's less than a Starbucks coffee, for gosh sakes. And you can figure out from reading the daily influence if it's going to be a good day, if it tends to be a bad day, if people are going to be in a bad mood, if they're going to be in a good mood, how are they going to act? Is it a good day to cut your hair or not? Also, I'm doing health influences for fall and winter for 2023. And like today, I did a special snapshot reading for one or more of the Patreons. Ended up the reading, it was applicable to more than one of the Patreons, and that's open to everybody. And top tier Patreons get once a month, like a live stream hangout chat with me where they can ask me any psychic questions that they want to, and I'm at their disposal. It's a lot of fun. I love the live stream hangouts, and we've got to schedule one for coming up soon. Now, I also want to tell you guys, and let me just say, I got one more QR code for you guys to look at. This is another really good book on astral travel and angels. So connecting with angels is pretty much the same as connecting with your spirit guides. They're all in the same realm. And so this is a good reference for you guys to look at too. But I want to talk about real quick how different spirit guides present for different stages of life, and some remain constant. So you have like people that are looking over you all the time, like remaining a constant. And then you have different spirit guides that pop in kind of for that particular stressful time. So for instance, a 40-year-old going through a divorce needs specific guidance from a spirit in life who had similar circumstances versus a 6-year-old person who is facing the beginning of first grade and afraid to leave the safety of home. So they're, your spirit guides kind of match what you're going through for that time. So a young child may have a different spirit guide that nurtures them, makes them feel safe, whereas the 40-year-old going through a divorce may need a spirit from the past who went through a divorce or had their companion leave them with a family to take care of. And so they know and can relate to what the person in life is going through. And maybe they had circumstances where they need to evolve. And so they're kind of assigned to that person to help them through that stage of life. So I hope the 4 steps can help you discover who your support team is and who's around you. And those are the 4 steps to connecting with your spirit guides. Now, if you want to get this information and you want to print it out, I'm going to be putting this on my blog on the website tomorrow afternoon. It will be on the website. And so you can copy and paste it off of there if you want to. But in the meantime, you guys, I hope you have a fabulous week, and I will see you next Monday. Don't forget the free reading on Friday on my Facebook page. If you want to join in, I would love for you guys to join in. Let me check for last minute questions. So Charles says, I have some information I'll send you and you can decide how to share. Some amazing new research recently. I would love to see that. Hello to Yasmin Jadoon. And thank you, Charles. Charles has the Fun Friday deck. And let me check Facebook really quick before we sign off. Love to Brenda. Good to see you tonight. And I will see you guys later. Kisses from Kentucky. Bye now.